So if you see this diagram, so you can get a better picture. So this is the final environment. Before reaching the code here, so you will do so many levels of testing. Different levels of testing will perform. That is called test levels. So test levels means from development environment to till the production environment. So different types of testings you will perform. Those testings are called test levels. The test levels are the first development environment, that unit testing will be performed. First testing, unit testing. The unit testing is done by the development team. Unit testing is done by development team. So developers will first, what they will do, they will write the code, right? So they will write the code and they will test it. So they will test it. Once they test it, and that code will move into testing environment. So what is unit testing? Unit testing is the first testing done by development team on the developers environment. So unit testing definition is testing each and every micro function of the application is called unit testing. Micro function means what? Small elements. There are so many elements in the web page. So you are going to test all those elements. So that is the unit testing means, like a particular button is working or not, particular radio button is working or not, particular checkbox is able to check or not, you are able to enter the data or not. So this is the unit testing. So checking each and every function. So before deploying in the testing environment, the development team will do one round of unit testing on their environment, development environment. That is called unit testing. Who will do unit testing? Development team. Developers will do unit testing. So what is unit testing? Testing each and every micro function of the application is called unit testing. So that's a unit testing means. And test environment. The test environment means, so the development team will deploy the code in the test environment. So this is called component testing or module testing. One module. So they will develop the one module. For example, developer 1 will develop M1 module. He will deploy his code in the test 1 environment. Then tester 1 will test that environment. That is called component module. Testing the individual component or module is called component testing or module testing, we call this, right? This is the component testing means. Component testing means, you see here, each one is a one component. So login one module, Search is another module. Suppose you take an example, I'm just giving here. So add to cart is another module. If you take an e-commerce website, these are different modules. Before merging them, these are different modules. So each module, so they are going to test separately. That is called module testing. So module testing means testing each and every independent module is called module testing or component testing. So testing a module independently to verify its expected output is called component testing. So component testing is done to verify the functionality or usability of component. So that's the component testing. So like see, login means what are the fields will be there in the login page? What fields will be there in the login page?
Username and password.
Username, password, login, password. So these are the fields will be there, right? Those you will test it. So that is one module. So you will test a positive, negative test. Positive is giving a correct username, password. Then you will test it whether you are able to log in or not. Then you will test a negative test case by giving invalid username, password. Then you will test it. That's a negative test case. When you do negative data, invalid data, it should not allow to go to the next page. It should not allow to log in. It will display proper error message saying that provided invalid credentials, invalid username, password. Like that, you should get a message. So that is what it is going to happen. The first module, any module, whatever the module you are testing. So based on the data, everything with data, valid or invalid data, you will provide. That is the, so how it will happen in the module test. Testing the UI part for usability and accessibility. Usability means look and feel, how user friendly, and accessibility means how quickly you are able to access the page loading. So you are able to access the page quickly or not. Testing the login functionality with valid and invalid user credentials. Component testing is done by testers. So who will do component testing or module testing? Testing team on the testing environment. Suppose M1 module will be deployed on test environment 1. One tester will test it. Module 2. So you can see here modules, different modules, right? So this login is one module. Browse a product, that means set, right? Browse a product means set. This is a different module. Add to cart is another module. Payment is another module. Confirmation is another module. So before this joining, these are all individual modules. Each box is one module. So each tester will test each thing separately. That is called component testing. Testing the individual components or modules is called component testing. You will check what you will check here. Whether the module is working as per expectation or not. That's what you are going to check. That's a component testing or module testing. Next, integration testing. Integration testing is you will combine all the individual modules, you will join all the individual modules, and they will deploy the code in the integration environment. So in the component testing, you tested individually. That you will the development team will deploy that in the integration environment, all the individual module code. Here again, you will test thoroughly. See, test the login page with valid and invalid credentials. So all this will be there. Okay. And then once the code is deployed here, and then you will start a integration testing. What is integration testing? Testing all the individual components by joining all of them. So all the modules code will be combined together, integrated as a single unit. Then you'll perform the testing to check data flow is happening from one module to other module or not. That's what you're going to check in the integration testing. What is the integration testing means? Testing the individual modules as a combined unit. You will integrate all the modules as a single unit. Then perform the testing to check the data flow is happening from one module to other modules is called integration testing. Testing a series of web pages in a particular order to verify the interoperability and also the data flow, mainly data flow is happening or not. So integration testing so in parallel with the development allows developers to detect and local bugs. So all the locating the bugs in the application, you will check it. That's integration testing means. So what is integration testing definition? Multiple modules are integrated as a single unit. So all the individual modules are integrated, joined together as a single unit. Then you will perform the testing to check the data flow is happening from one module to other module or not. That is called integration testing. So integration testing is done by testers. Suppose these are all modules are combined. All combined. First you will log in. After login, you will search it. So once you search, you will select the product and you will add it to the cart. That means once you select a product that added to cart, it should show that product in the cart page. That means the data flow is happening here. You selected the product here and it came to add to cart, and the count also will increase. If you add one more, the count will increase. The second product also will show. So that means the data flow is happening here. So that is called integration. So even when you in the pages, there will be CRUD operations: create, update, read, and delete. Right? Suppose when you create a record in the page, or can you create an account in the pages, the user will be created. So once user is created, if you go to list page, that user will list out new user. And if you click on that new user, all the details will show it. If you want to modify, you just click on edit on that user. You can modify the data. That's the edit. Update. You can update that. When you save it, new data should update, old data should go away. So that's the update also you can do. And you can delete also, same record. If you want, you can delete also. So these all operations you can do in the web pages. CRUD operations we call them. But here integration testing means the data flow is happening between the different modules of the application, is called integration testing, combining all the individual modules as a single unit and then perform the testing to check the data flow is happening from one module to other module or not. That is called integration testing. Okay. So that's the integration testing means. So how developers will perform the integration testing? So before they're deploying into the environment, how they will join the modules. So that is called integration in their perspective. Our perspective is in the UI will check it like this, right? So as I mentioned, if you go to Amazon, so I'll search a product here, right? I'll search a product. I'll select the product. Okay, I'm searching the product. See, I added to the cart. I'll add to the cart. See, I'll select add to cart. Okay, so then you will see the cart page is filled with 1. Before it was 0. Now it is filled with 1. Okay, so this one, say it is showing this product, the details. That's the data flow. I selected in the search results. It came here. I add to the cart and it is showing. If I want, I can see all this functionality, can test it. So the data, then proceed. If you proceed, it will go to no personal details page, maybe where to send and all the address you can specify. Then it will go to payment page. Then you will do payment different ways. So with a credit card, with a debit card, with a wallet, whatever the ways you have, you can do that. So this is the how you can do that. Yeah. So this is the how we can so do the integration testing from one module to other module. The data is flowing or not, you check. If you modify in one place, and it should display in the read page also, view page. So that's the integration testing. And wherever it has to reflect all the pages, it should reflect the same data. If it is not reflecting, that's a issue. That means data is not flowing. That's what you need to check all the things. But how developers will do their integration testing? While joining the modules, so the developers will try to connect the modules, and by 3 ways, by 4 ways, we can say: top-down approach, bottom-up approach, hybrid approach. So, and system approach, one more is there, big bang or a system approach. These 4 ways, the developers will join the modules, and then they will deploy the code. Based on that, they will deploy the code. So top-down approach means, so different modules, how they will join is this top-down. So what is this top-down? Let's see. The interconnection of the main module with a sub-modules is called top-down approach. So programmers use a temporary program called stubs. So stubs means, so any module which is under construction is connected with a main module with a temporary program called stub. A stub returns the control to the main program. A stub returns the control to the main program. So that is called a temporary program. So when you hit this module which is under development, and then the controller will direct the to main module by this stub. That's what the stub response. Once it is ready, this module is ready, they will remove this stub, not required. So now see this submodule 1, submodule 2 connecting with the main module. That is called top down. Main module is ready. Submodule is 1, submodule is ready, but submodule 2 is still not ready. But still they have to connect. So how they will connect? One temporary program they'll put in between these two, so that while developing it won't disturb. Even if you perform the actions on the submodule 2, nothing will happen. So it will go here. So that's the temporary program. So what it will do. So in this approach, first parent modules are developed by the developers. After that, child modules are developed. Then interconnect the parent and child modules. In the interconnection process, so any submodule is under construction, then the developers create a temporary program instead of submodules. That is called stub. That is called stub. And that's a top-down approach. What is top-down approach? It's just for your information purpose, how they are joining the modules. You don't need to worry about this, okay? That's a developer's task. But the main task is you need to think how you are going to test. So what you will test. I have shown you practically here, right? The data is flowing properly or not. Same product should show in the confirmation page also. Same amount you have to pay. This is the integration. See, in the results page, set results page, this price and the same product name is showing. In the cart page also, it should show same product, same price, everything same should show. That's the data flow. So that is happening or not, you will check in the integration. Clear? And but developers, how they will join is you don't need to bother about much. So they will join and give it to us. Okay. And next one is bottom up approach. See, bottom up means submodules are ready and main module is still under construction. Construction means what? Under development. Still development is not completed. But you have to join. Then they will approach. So this bottom up approach. So while connecting submodule with the main module which is under construction, they will use a temporary program called a driver. So that is the bottom up approach. See, top down approach, you're using a temporary program stub. And bottom up approach, you're using a temporary program driver. So that is the concept. Okay. So that's the bottom up approach. See, in this bottom approach, first child modules are developed. Developers will develop child modules. After that, parent modules are developed. Then interconnect the child modules with the parent modules. In the interconnection process, is there any main module is under construction? Then the developers will create a temporary program that is called a driver. Then what is the difference between stub and driver? So stub is a temporary program used instead of sub-programs which are under construction. Temporary, this driver also temporary program used instead of main program, main module, which is under construction. The stub is used in the top-down approach, and driver is used in the bottom-up approach. So stub is called programs, and driver is a calling programs. So that's a stub and driver means. So hybrid approach. What is hybrid approach? So the combination of the process of top-down approach and bottom-up approach is called hybrid approach. That means you will join the modules from top to bottom, bottom to up.
tab nokka.
That is called. And
Ona nokka. Ona hana. Ja khata le ja. Khel le ja.
so that is called hybrid approach. Hybrid approach is nothing but you're going to join the modules from top to bottom, bottom to top. So that is the top-down approach means. Right? So this is what top-down approach or bottom-up approach, you're combining. That's a hybrid approach. Then system approach. System approach means system approach is known as Big Bang approach. From this approach, the programmers interconnect programs after completion of all programs development and unit testing. So basically here how they will join is in the system approach. Now this is the one everybody follows. Our ones nobody using now. Previously they were used to do, but now once the development is completed, then only they will join all the modules, which is not developed, still under construction, still under development, they won't join. But so now in this Big Bang approach or system approach, what they will do, all the modules interconnect after completion of all the modules development and unit testing. So the programmers will connect all the modules, development should be completed and unit testing is over. Then that's a system approach or a Big Bang approach we call. This is the one nowadays everybody follows this one only, not our ones. So you should, developers must complete all the modules coding and unit testing must be completed by them only. Then they will join all the modules and you will perform the individual components. Component testing, testing team will perform. And once you perform the component testing, then they will join all of them and give it to you. Then you have to do one more round of testing, that is called integration testing. So once the integration testing, so what is a build? I told you build means finally integrated set of all code that will be deployed in the environment. That is called a build. So what is a build? All the combined code will be deployed in one environment. That is called build or application under testing. AUT means application under testing. So suppose you see integration testing means example, battery and SIM card are integrated, assembled in order to start the mobile phone, right? That's a battery is a separate component, SIM card is a separate component. When you join both of them, you can start using your mobile. That's integration. Two different modules you joined together. So that's a simple, realistic example I'm giving here. Then what is system testing? Any questions till now? System testing. Okay. System testing involves the whole application system testing involves the whole application that will be deployed in the staging environment. Our system test environment or staging environment. So you will check in this staging environment whether the system meets the customer requirements or not. And system testing also called black box testing. System testing also called black box testing. System testing also called black box testing. So in the black box testing means you will check the functional requirements, all your test cases. Based on the requirements, you will write a test cases. All those test cases you will execute in detailed, because all the combined code you will get it here, and you will do one round of thorough execution of all the test cases. With the test data, you will prepare the test data in the testing time itself. Test case design itself, you will prepare the test data. Maybe environment wise, test data will vary. Test data preparation also done by testing team. What is test data? What are the inputs you are providing? That is called a test data. So what are the data that you will use to test the application? That is called test data. Who will prepare the test data? The testing team responsibility, that is. Test data preparation, test case preparation is all testers' responsibility. Test case preparation is the core responsibility of a tester only. Those test cases you will use to test all these environments one by one. Same test case you can reuse, right? Some maybe integration test cases will be there. Some system test cases will be there. System test case means you are combining all of them. Then you will test as a whole application as a one unit. And so here you will go in detailed. Each requirement is fulfilled and working as per customer expectation or not, you will check in the system test. So in the system testing, you will do a lot of testings: GUI testing, positive testing, negative testing. So what is GUI testing means? Graphical user interface testing. Look and feel is good or bad. You can see here. The look and feel is good. So no space. See, no overlapping. This text is not going and overlapping. It looks good, right? This card looks good. So, and everything is properly arranged. That is the look and feel you will check. And the font size you will check. Alignment, same alignment or not, you will check. So that's what you will check in the GUI testing. Spelling mistakes are there or not. Alignment issues, consistency, tab order. These are all you will check the GUI test. And second one is positive testing. Testing the application by inputting the valid data and positive functional flow you will check. Suppose you are testing this and you selected the product. So continuing till the end, that is one positive flow, positive functional flow. And you are just selecting and you are deleting them. This is a negative flow. You are not continuing, but different flow. So deleting is a different flow, right? So that is the different ways you can test. Positive flow means positive data or happy path testing. You will do happy path. So a simple example is entering valid username and password in login section. That's a happy path. Later you can give invalid data. That's a different negative testing network. This is a simple example. What is positive testing? Negative testing means it is performed using incorrect data, invalid data input. It validates if the system throws an error of invalid input and behaves as expected or not. That's a negative testing. So negative testing provide invalid username and password, then submit the login button. What will happen if you provide invalid username and password? It should not allow to login. What the message you will get? Provided invalid username password, please provide valid data. That message it will show in the screen. So that negative testing also you have to do. Otherwise we don't know, right? Every data you should not accept. The data is not valid and it should not allow to log in. That's the negative testing will perform. So system testing is carried out by testing team on the staging environment. So we'll perform the system testing and testers will perform on the staging environment. So let's understand here three types of testing with N. So example here, functional testing here. So functional testing of mobile phone is checked in terms of its features, battery usage, as well as SIM card facilities. Or even you can say login. This is the login section, right? Here you can see the test cases, simple test case I'll give. So almost every web application requires its users or customer to log in, right? Every application has to have how to log in. So what is that? You have a username field, password field, login button. Some places you will get a password reset also here. Forget password, sign up, something. So for unit testing, what the developer will test? Field length, username, password field length he will check, and input field values should be valid. The login button is enabled only after valid values so are entered in both the fields. So the login button is enabled only after valid values. That's a simple unit test, but integration testing, the user sees the welcome message after entering the valid values and pushing the login button. So it will go to next page. That's integration testing. But in the functional testing or you can see in the functional testing, the expected behavior is checked. Is the user able to log in? By clicking the login button after entering a valid username password or not, you will check. Is there a welcome message that is to appear after successful login? So is there error message that should appear on invalid login? So are there any stored site cookies for login fields? Can an inactivated user can log in or not? So is there any forget password link for the users who have forgotten their passwords? Almost every web application requires its users, customers to log in. So every application has to have a login page with these three elements. So these are all test cases you will test. As a functional testing or system testing or black box testing, all three are same. You're checking the functionality is working or not. That's why you are a functional tester. You will check your functionality of the application. Your application functionality is working or not, you will check. Say I clicked on delete, it worked. Say now cart page is 0. That's working. That's whether it is working or not, you will check in your functional testing. So this all flows you will go. See, buy it again. I can add to cart. See, when you click on this add to cart, whether it is adding or not to the cart, that means whether it is working or not, you are checking by doing action. This is all functional testing. See, it added. The product is added to cart. See, count is increased. So this is all functional testing. You're checking the functionality of the application. Each and everything you'll check. See, I deleted it, worked. See, if I select the count, it should increase. The count quantity will increase by 2. So this is whether it is working or not, you need to check that. So each and everything you have to check it, right? So this is the functional testing, how it is working. Okay. So next one, system integration testing or end-to-end testing. It is similar to system testing, but it is involves testing the whole application in a real world uses, how customers will use, how the Amazon website people will use. That real world scenarios only will test this end-to-end scenarios. What is end-to-end scenario in the Amazon perspective? From beginning to till end. What is the main objective of Amazon? How you will use? What is the main objective of your Amazon website? What purpose you?
To buy a product.
To buy a product, right? Then what you will do first? You will search the product. Then you will add to the cart. Then you will enter your details. Then you will do the payment. Then finally confirmation page. This is one end-to-end flow. That is called system testing or the system integration testing or end-to-end testing. See, I can add a product, I can save for later. This is one end-to-end flow. So I can delete. So you added, deleted, one end-to-end flow. So somewhere you will start and you will do multiple steps and you will end there. That's called end-to-end testing. So that end-to-end testing, it is going to interact with the different components of the application. What are the different components of the application?
All fresh, buy again, Amazon Pay.
No, any web application. This is a web application, right? Any web application, what are the different components of the application? That I told you in the difference between web applications and Windows applications. The architecture I have given, right? So you haven't read that. That's what basics you have to read. Web server, application server, database server. So when you hit the any web application, so the data first displays here, the UI display, that's a web server, it will be there, the content. And then application logics. For example, you selected 2 products, so that it will calculate all the things. That's a logic. The logic or application code, where it will be there in the application server. So where you created a one order, the order will go and store in the database tables. So this is all integration of all the modules, all the components. Any web application, these 3 components will be there. These 3, so servers, web server, application server, and database server, what will be there? So you created account, the account where it will go and store in the database. That means you are interacting with the database. Again, you are fetching data from database and you are logging using those credentials. That is what this so system integration testing is. You will check how you are interacting with the different components of the application, like whether you're interacting with the web server, whether you're interacting with the application logic, where it will store application code. Main application code will store in the application server. So they will write the logic using some programming languages. When you select the, so some logic, if you are executing here, the logic will execute by application server. There the code will be there and that will be executed, and data will store in the database server. That data, how it will fetch, because it is there in the tables in the database. That's why you will get it. If data is not there in the database table, so you cannot fetch it. Suppose the order is not stored in the database, then it won't show your order. So that's the different components, how you will interacting with the hardware applications is not, you will check. That is called system integration, end-to-end testing. And acceptance testing. Next, last one, acceptance testing. So acceptance testing means the main goal of acceptance testing is to verify whether the system as a whole is fit for use in the real world. Now, Amazon. So before deploying in the production, they will take one more round of testing. After your end-to-end testing and system testing, all these are done. So the senior people like a business analyst and managers, senior developers, they will do one round of UAT testing. That's user acceptance testing. So user acceptance testing, again, two types. So before handing over to the client, so we will do company inside one round of testing, that is called alpha testing. So this test takes place at a company location, alpha testing. So this is one type of acceptance testing. So this is also called UAT testing, user acceptance testing. So a cross section of potential users are members of the developers and also business analysts. They are invited to use the application, and then they will all use the real scenarios. They will test it, how this application works and how it is working. They will test it one more time before handing over to the client. That is called UAT testing or alpha testing. And that will be done in the pre-live environment. So there is a one more environment will be there. Before going to the production or live environment, they will deploy all the staging code into pre-live environment or UAT environment, and they will do one round of testing. So that is called UAT testing or alpha testing. So beta testing means send the system to cross section of users who install it and use it under real working conditions. The users send records of incidents to the system to the development organization where the defects are repaired. So basically, the client side, this will happen. This beta testing will happen at a client side. Their people will use the application and see how it is working. If any issues are there, they will send back to the development team. So this is the company outside, it will happen, beta testing. Alpha testing will happen in the company inside only. The people inside, business analyst, senior managers, senior developers, they will test this UAT testing or alpha testing. Once you sign off from alpha testing, Then same environment will be given to the client, and client side people will use the application, how they are. Before accepting the application, they have to see whether all the requirements are fulfilled, tested, and working or not. That's what the client side people, they will say, because they are paying money to company. How do they know whether you implemented, the development team completed all the requirements, fulfilled all the requirements, and you tested? Whether you tested or not, how do they know? That's why they will do one more round of testing before pushing the code to the production environment. Before they push the code to the production, they will do one round of testing. That is called beta testing. So these many rounds of testing, why you do need? Then when you are moving, the configurations of the servers are different. Production configuration is different. Configuration means what? The size of the server, the memory. The user says, if you more size is there, how many people are using, that will be handled easily. It won't take much time. The speed of loading the page, everything will be more if you compared with the normal environments. The production environment is very, very fast. See, this is the taking more time. This won't take that much time. So quickly loading, right? This is the performance, because the production environment is very, very big. The servers are very big servers, because Amazon is used by crores or millions of people. When you all are using at a time, it should not break. That they will perform the performance testing also, but functional testing first mandate. Once the functional testing is over, you will hand over to the performance team. That's a separate testing team. We are the functional testers. What the functional testers will do, whether functionality is working or not, you will bother. You won't bother about how quickly it is loading. Your main focus is functionality is working or not in the application. That's what your responsibility. And performance testing team, how quickly page is loading, how many transactions you can finish, that they will take care. It's not your job. But you are the only tester, you have to report that kind of slowness bugs also in the application. So in your team, you are the only one. They will ask you to test even the performance testing also by you only. Some companies, even functional test itself have to test performance testing. Functional tester itself has to do a performance testing. So that's all the acceptance testing. That means before handing over to the customer, we will do UAT testing or alpha testing inside the company. Once you are done, all you signed off, then it will go to customer. Customer will test all of them based on the requirement document. All his requirements are there and it is working or not, anything missing, everything you will check requirement by requirement. Each requirement you will check. You won't leave single requirement also. You'll put a requirement document, you will test each and every requirement, whether they developed or not, anything missing, anything not working, all of them, they will check one more time. That's the beta testing. Once it is done, what they will do, this code, they definitely will get a bugs. Yes, we'll miss some scenarios. They know better how to use the application. So they will test it and give it to us. And if any bugs are there, the development team quickly fix them and deploy them. And again, they will test it one more time. And that code will go to production environment. Basically, sir, it is already in the live. People are using. If they while deploying, anything will happen. That's why the production servers they will maintain 2, 3. One is in the operational condition, another 2 are in the reserve. What they will do, first they will deploy this code, all the tested code into the reserved environments. They will test there and everything working. They will do high level sanity testing. So right, all the functionality is working or not, they will check it in the production environment. They will turn on that and it will be accessible to all the users. So you won't feel even downtime. Immediately they will first the already existing live environment or production environment is under usage, and while deploying a new code, a new feature, how it will come? One environment they will deploy and they will turn on, so that you won't feel a downtime. And this the operational one, which is they will stop this. Again, same code will be deployed in the other standing environments also, and they will perform testing. So this is the process from unit testing to till acceptance testing, Uet testing, everything, all levels will be tested and deployed to the production. Production means live environment you are using already. This is the live environment we are using. Our production environment, we call this. This many levels of testing will happen before code is released to the production. That's how the complete testing will happen. Any questions?